Hello and welcome to the Wheel to Wheel podcast. I'm Ali,
I'm Akeem.
and this is our F1 weekly catch-up. What are you saying, Akeem?
So, it's been a very good week, to be fair. Very much so enjoyed the race. Had a lot happening. Not for everyone,
Yeah.
clearly.
The Spanish Grand Prix does deliver all the time.
Yeah, I don't think it's really let us down, to be fair.
It was a good race. A lot that happened, and obviously there's one place we have to start, and it was the biggest drama that happened in the last 6 laps of the race. And that is Nico Hulkenberg, my guy. No. We'll get on to Nico. We'll get on to Nico later, but we have to start with my other guy, Max Verstappen,
Oh, yes.
and the blunder by Red Bull. What did you make of the whole situation?
I believe that Red Bull messed up originally. The whole plan, right? I don't think that safety car was what they initially planned for, because that safety car threw them off. They had a good strategy going on, and he had the softs. They're probably like 6 laps old, and when the whole thing happened, I don't even think the safety car needed to be out that long either. But that's another story. Now imagine Max is going in and he's taking in hards. You know what I mean? And good enough. I think his tyres were good enough to take him to the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's hindsight, though, isn't it?
It is, but even when we were watching the race,
Wow, of course.
How could he put him on hards for the last couple of laps? Like the last 10 was probably like 10 laps left or something.
Yeah, but most of that was taken by the safety car. By the end of it, it was only 6 laps of racing left.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull should have spoke to Max on the radio before pulling him in and just telling him, look, we've only got hards. And I'm almost certain that Max would have just said, no.
Oh, yeah.
Leave me out.
Period.
Because his laps were like a couple laps old, maybe like 5 or 6 laps old, softs. And I know it's been worn in, and he probably was pushing on those softs when he first got them. However, I think there was only 6 laps of racing left. I think he could have managed it. I don't think he would have won it, but I think he could have secured a podium, and it could have avoided all the drama. But yes, that is hindsight speaking. But what really happened was they put him on hards. He was unhappy about it. And then we saw after the safety car restart.
Just before that, do you think it was Piastri, innit? Do you think Piastri was very deliberate in the way he started the race as well? Because he really turned the race like before it happened, he crawled into it. Like there was a moment where it was like they were crawling, and he made sure like Max couldn't really heat up those tires either. Do you feel like that was a clever move, or do you think intentional?
No,
No,
I don't think Piastri was thinking about Max. I think, I'm sure like every team knows what every driver's on what tire, and Max was the only one I think on hard tires, and I bet everyone, Leclerc, George, was just licking their lips, thinking, "Okay, I'm gonna have him."
Yeah.
I don't think Piastri was thinking about Max. I think he was more thinking about Lando Norris behind him. But yeah, because they had like a couple laps before the safety car restart to warm up the tires, and you saw Max weaving and stuff, but it's just the hards do take a long time to kick in.
Yeah.
So either way, he was screwed from the get-go.
Yeah, facts.
Talk me through, what did you think of the safety car restart, and when you go into turn 1, he kind of like...
And you know what's funny, right? Because I remember seeing a little wiggle, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It felt like it was Bambi on ice.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
surprised he was able
crazy.
to keep it going, and then Leclerc down the straight.
Oh, that was naughty. But to be honest, I think the bit on the straight, right, that was clearly like Leclerc knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He knew he was like edging him to the thing, innit? Because I get it. You're trying to win, innit? You're
Trying to squeeze
racing
him a
hard.
bit out, yeah.
Yeah, racing him hard.
I didn't think anything of the Leclerc thing when he nudged him. I just thought, it's nothing, he was going to pass regardless.
Yeah.
But it's what happened afterwards with George.
And I think the whole thing with George is like...
Because he kind of lunged it in the inside. He saw, okay, maybe there's an opportunity. But, yeah, he kind of lost control, and he banged tyres with Max, and Max had to use the runoff area to go through.
But I think it stems from Red Bull in a way, because I've realized there's been this this whole trend of teams just backing off now. Even with Charles from the last race, it's like they would rather not chance it and get a penalty. They would rather like, listen, let's just give the place back. We don't want no beef in it. But at the same time, there was something to really bargain with right there. I mean, they could have actually got away with it. The FIA actually didn't.
They said there was no further action required. Like, Max was in the right to use the runoff area, because he actually did leave racing room for George to make the overtake, but George just didn't have control of the car, and George hit into Max. It wasn't Max that turned into him. And I was just thinking, how did Red Bull mess that up? They've got all the technology, all the cameras to kind of see this. But yeah, it comes from teams not wanting to risk a penalty. But Red Bull always risk penalties. And I just think, just keep true to yourself.
I mean, at this point, they're the villains. Let's be real.
Yeah, and just own up to it. Be the villain. For real, just be the villain. And then, we saw them telling Max, give the place back to Russell, and Max was really angry on the radio, and I thought rightly so. And Max was obliging for like a couple seconds.
He's like, wait a second, no.
Until he saw red. Yeah. Until he saw red. And he just thought, nah, fuck this guy. And he just deliberately rammed into him. And still, I just didn't understand it. Like, he still got the place, Russell, but Max just rammed into him out of pure frustration. But that's Max Verstappen for you.
Yeah, in a nutshell, to be fair.
Yeah.
I feel like he did the same with Lewis when it came to Brazil. I remember that corner very well, and I was just like, he knew he was going to make it.
Ran out the road,
He knew. But I think Max is he's very smart. He knows when he can take the piss, and he knows when he can't.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a time where, listen, if he's gonna spoil your race, then so be it.
But that was the difference, though. It's like in Brazil, he deserved the penalty, no doubt. But he kind of played it to a point where it's like, okay, he didn't get the penalty. Whereas this one with George, he deliberately done it, and I think he was expecting penalty. I don't think he was trying to be smart with the rules. He's literally just hit into somebody.
And I think this is on his social media, this was the closest he's ever came to an apology. He didn't really apologize. But that's the most you'd ever get from Max. That's the most. And even then I was like, you know what? From Max, that's basically like an apology in a way. I get it. You get what I'm saying?
But yeah, like, I think Red Bull, mostly Red Bull, but then Max didn't help the situation by not being able to control his anger. And that caused further damage, because even if he finished behind Russell in 5th place, still some valuable points for him to kind of keep going. But that 10th place finish is pretty much like a DNF. You only get 1 point, and especially in the context of the championship, it's got 50 points now behind the leader, and that is a mountain to climb. So
even for him, the McLarens are gonna have to DNF somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just to really equal out the playing field.
But touching on McLarens, we got to talk about how great they were. Piastri had that race from the get-go, from Saturday through to Sunday. Qualified better than Norris, and he just kept it under control. How good was Piastri?
Oh, outstanding. And you know what's bad? None of us put him in our top 3 predictions.
Oh, our predictions were well off. Like,
I did get Leclerc though.
You did get Leclerc by the help of me.
No, that was me. No. I said it. I wanted to put Leclerc there, innit?
So you got it. You got it. Fair enough. But yeah, I went Max, which ended up 10th. Max, I think I put Lando. And then Lewis. Lewis let me down. And then you went Lando,
yeah. Max and Leclerc.
Yeah. Max messed us up on that one. But I had Max and Lewis mess us up. The 2 best drivers in the grid messed me up.
Didn't it? Have you realised that, like, those 2 kind of work in conjunction as well with each other sometimes? I've
noticed that when one of them have a bad race, both of them actually do have bad races. I've started to pick that up as well.
Yeah, it's weird.
But McLaren's, even after the technical directive, they were still dominant. Who would have saw that coming?
Didn't know.
No, damage. I mean, I think most people saw that coming. Like, we the McLaren's just got an amazing car, a rocket ship, and that whole change of the flexi front wing, and at the beginning of the season the rear wing, it's done nothing to them because they just have the best car on the grid, and that's compliments to McLaren's engineering. Like, they were brilliant.
I have to say, like, watching them from 22 to now, they climbed the grid. They started from the bottom.
Yeah.
So I have to.
In 2020, yeah, from the start of the regulations, they were almost dead last, and
yeah, look at them now.
they're the best.
You know what? I'm very interested to see what it's going to be like in 26 now, because
Well, they have the luxury. They have the luck. That's how easy they have it now. Like, I bet Zach Brown, Andrea Stella is just thinking, we've got the season wrapped up. We have our 2 drivers in first and second with a nice margin, and they're competing against themselves. So you're gonna have a McLaren drivers champion, and the constructors, they're just nowhere to be seen. They're gone. So now they can concentrate on the new regs, put all the resources into next year and continuing this fine form.
True.
And they got the Mercedes engine as well. So I think everything's boding well
going
for
in,
them,
it's going in the direction, actually.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. And yeah, the championship's going to be...
Max is at the championship.
No, you know what? I'm not even gonna... You know what? I'm never going to say never for Max. I'm never going to say never, but it's all looking very likely. But, you know, let's just see how it goes. See how it goes, mate.
I told myself I'll give it to Spain to see what would happen, and 50 points, and the way Red Bull have been operating for the past year now, it's just been so questionable. It's just been going so bad. I think Max is doing everything he can do in that car. I think he's maximizing everything in that car, but it's just not enough against the McLarens. And
it's ironic.
I have to be honest that it's a mountain to climb, and if they can't change it around in Canada, he's out of the championship. To me, right now, after Spain, after that result, and seeing the McLarens being the force they still are, I think Max is out of the championship. It's out of Piastri and Norris. It's a McLaren dominance for this year, drivers and constructors.
Facts. It's ironic because Spain was actually the final nail in the coffin, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was meant to deliver hope, and it kind of killed it.
Yeah, sadly, because it killed hope for everybody. Not even just Max. It killed it for Ferrari, killed it for Mercedes. Even though I don't think Mercedes was very much in it, but Ferrari still had it. And speaking of Ferrari, they're now second in the constructors. But they're second in the constructors. And Leclerc, great race.
Yeah,
third. Yeah.
I said it.
Third.
But I think with Ferrari, what they need to take from this, right, is that they were, I wouldn't say they got better. They just sucked the least. That's how I would put it. I don't think they should let the number 2 in the constructors fool them, because they are still like light years behind where they should be, to be honest. Going into the season, we were actually debating whether it was going to be McLaren or Ferrari. And it's weird that they're the top 2 right now. It's actually so weird. But I don't think the numbers really represent actuality.
But they are improving, though. Bit by bit.
Yeah.
It might be slow progress, but progress nonetheless. Like, got to give it to them a little bit that the progress they are making, you can see it. It's not like your typical Ferrari where, they've made this amazing progress, and then literally the next race is just... crazy downfall, but they're keeping steady. I think I don't want to shit on Lewis, but it's Leclerc that's sort of like making it look better, because he is grabbing those podiums. I know the last win for Lewis was the sprint win, and that was the second race of the season.
Yeah. But I don't think it's so much like, for me, I would say it's like you can tell like they're not in that same place, because Leclerc is not washing Lewis.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But he is outperforming him, and he's picking up the podiums. Like, he had a really good Monaco weekend.
Yeah.
Finishing second.
But then Ferrari gave Lewis a free place grid drop as well for Monaco.
Yeah, but that's part of the game. I know what you mean, but like that is his engineer. They are like together. Whatever he's doing is going to affect Lewis. Do you know what I mean? That's just part of the game. Yeah, of course, Lewis could have finished ahead of Max in Monaco if he didn't get a grid placed penalties, but yeah, you do the crime, you gotta do the time, innit? So it is what it is, innit? I can't really debate that. But with Lewis, what do you think?
I think it's just he's where I think he would have been, to be fair. Like a new driver coming into the team. I mean, I try not to just use Lewis example. I'm using Sainz. I'm using who's another guy?
Yuki's now in a Red
Yuki
Bull.
as well. To be honest, a lot of the drivers in new teams, he's kind of fed off the best. I'll be real.
Yeah, I think so. But with Sainz and Williams, yeah, Sainz had a weekend to forget in his home Grand Prix. I feel sorry for him in that sense. But Fernando didn't. Fernando actually scored points. Yeah, in his home Grand Prix. So,
but Stroll had to be out for him to score points.
Yeah, but
it's true though.
No, he would have scored it regardless, man. It's weird for Sainz because like you see Albon outperforming him, but could be a thing where like same with Charles outperforming Lewis. It's that he has that familiarity in that car. He knows the car better.
True.
And you can't even say wait till next year because next year's got the new regulations.
Completely.
So we wouldn't see. But with Lewis, you can make the argument that it would have been the same regardless, just because we saw how Lewis fared against George. It's not his regulations, is it, for Lewis?
I feel like, but do you feel like Charles went over to Mercedes, would he actually beat Lewis in the course of a season?
I think so,
Really?
Yeah, I just think like if George was beating him, I'm just using that as sort of the measurement.
But then he has to, but even the brakes are different. The car is completely different.
Yeah, I get that.
So you're saying Charles can overcome the gap in the car and just...
If he had a pre-season to like how Kimi Antonelli had that time.
No, let's do it like for like. The same with
Lewis.
Lewis.
He still had testing. Because what about George?
Mm-hmm.
When George came in 2022, he
Yeah.
still beat Lewis, didn't he?
No,
Did he beat him that season?
No, I didn't beat him.
But yeah, I qualified him on Saturdays.
I think it was still quite... 22 was still quite close. But I think there was a point where he was ahead. But then I remember mid to later on in the season, Lewis just put his foot down. And run with it.
There's obviously that factor of like joining a new team, trying to get used to things. But let's see. Ferrari's bringing in the upgrades for Silverstone, and that is Lewis's most dominant track. And I hope he can turn it around. Like I actually do want to see Lewis putting in better results.
Yeah, it's sad to see him like this. He's in a real funk. Like his last post-race interview, he's like, you can see he has manners in it. He's like, he was on the edge of just snapping, but he kind of kept it controlled.
It just feels like it's been like that for over a year now. That he just feels very defeated, and I do feel for him. Like when you're so used to winning championships and winning races, and then coming to a point where you're hardly getting podiums, it must be so demoralizing for him.
Facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully by Silverstone with the new upgrades coming in, he can turn it around. Like I think everyone's confident that Leclerc is going to keep putting in the performances he is.
Yeah.
Because it's his team, so he knows the car better than Lewis. But while we're on the subject of new drivers going to new teams, we have to talk about Yuki Tsunoda. And that second Red Bull seat curse continues.
Another one of my boys. None of my boys are really delivering for me, except Hadjar, but that's another topic.
But they're linked in a way, aren't they? Hadjar and Yuki, they are linked. But Yuki's he's struggling. But I think it was expected. Anybody that goes into that second Red Bull seat was going to struggle.
They're kind of doomed, to be fair, I think. I think Yuki, he was doing really well in the Racing Bulls seat, to be fair. Him and Hadjar, they had a good thing going on. Who knows? I think they would have probably scored good points in the championship as well.
But Liam's starting to pick up performances now.
Yeah. But it's like, I think with Yuki, I think he's just very unfortunate. The one time they actually put him like in the seat he wants to be is when they're at their worst. Like, It would have been. I would love to see like a Yuki in an RB19 or RB20.
Red Bull took the responsibility in Spain for Yuki's poor race because they ran an old spec floor to help with the rear instability of the car, and they said like even Yuki said in an interview that he drove the car the best way it could be driven. He tried to extract everything from it, but it just wasn't there for him. And Red Bull came out and said they tried something different and it didn't work, and they took the blame.
Yeah.
But I feel for Yuki, and yeah, let's see, because they've got upgrades coming in Canada. Let's see what they can do
In the course for next year, 2026. What do you reckon?
I don't know. Red Bull is so unpredictable. I just hope that they don't take Hadjar. And it's not to say that Hadjar's bad. He's been brilliant. It's just I don't want him to kind of go into that environment just yet. It's not good for his development. He's doing so well at Racing Bulls. Keep him at Racing Bulls for another year and then promote him. Like maybe give Yuki another year, because I just think this year is not fair and it's not reflective on that second seat, because the second seat is just cursed. You can put most drivers in there and they just wouldn't fare well in that car. It takes a certain driver, a certain level of a driver to drive that Red Bull car. And it's not to say that Yuki's a bad driver or Hadjar's a bad driver. It's just not their driving style.
Yeah, I agree.
They're good drivers, but they're not world-class drivers. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I couldn't play better myself. I'll be and while we're on the topic of Hadjar, like, what do you think of him?
He's the best rookie.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's the best rookie this year. And most people would have thought it would be Kimi Antonelli, but nope, it's Isaac Hadjar. And boy, is he shining. Like,
Yeah.
I'm loving it for him.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what I think? Yeah, I think the first race, where where he span out?
Yeah.
I feel like that really got to him. And I think that was a character-defining moment. You saw him, he took it in, he cried a little bit. But after that, man just went...
Probably Lewis's dad.
Yeah.
Gave him a little words of wisdom.
Yeah, who knows, isn't it?
And Lewis is his favorite driver as well. So having Lewis's dad come up to him must have been like...
Yeah, relief. Yeah, man. And he let all, and he's laying it all out on the track, like how he should be. And Hadjar, he's definitely impressing me right now. I don't know what he was like in F2.
He was competing for the F2 championship, but yeah, his car didn't start in the last race in Abu Dhabi, and Bortoleto won the championship. But coming into this season F1, like all eyes were on Kimi Antonelli because he was that prodigy of like the next Max Verstappen,
going in a top team straight away.
Going to Mercedes in replacing Lewis Hamilton. So that was a lot of press and a lot of attention to Kimi. But for people who didn't watch F2 or anything like that, the two drivers that were coming into F1 were to watch was Isaac Hadjar and Bortoleto, because they were the two championship protagonists of last season. Unfortunately for Bortoleto, he's in a Sauber, but Isaac Hadjar is in a decent car and he's showing what he's capable of.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
But speaking on the Sauber, we got to talk about my guy, Nico Hülkenberg. Come on, give it to him, man.
He done good, did it? Like, I can't even lie, innit? Like, man even overtook a Ferrari. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't even floor Nico Hülkenberg. Like, he probably gave Sauber the most.
He's given all the points to Sauber.
Yeah, I think that's more points than they had last year in that one race.
I think they only scored 2 or 4 points last year.
And that was the last race they scored points.
Yeah.
The last race, like,
I think
wow.
Zhou Guanyu scored it in I want to say it was Qatar Grand Prix, scored those points, and that was like the second last race. Yeah, no one was expecting that. He outscored Nico Hülkenberg. But Sauber,
I'm saying?
Hülkenberg already did it before the Spanish Grand Prix, but he's just added more, and he finished, what was it, 5th?
Yeah.
5th in a Sauber. Can you believe somebody finishing 5th in a Sauber?
Yeah, and him going out in Q1 helped him as well.
Him overtaking the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton. That is...
that in there. Right,
yeah, but come on, that is big though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a diss to Lewis. It's more of a compliment to Nico. Like, that's amazing.
Then again, those softs did add another.
I get that, but it's a Sauber, Akeem. That's what I'm trying to make.
But
That
the
is the
grid's
point.
close. The grid's actually really close when you think about
But the
it.
Sauber's 1 second behind the McLarens. Like it's still the slowest car on the grid. Like even despite the great result of the Spanish Grand Prix, is still the slowest car.
I can't lie.
And it's just that's what I'm trying to give more credit to Nico Hülkenberg. He's outperforming that car. He's
True.
such a great driver, and I just think if only
He had a better team. He
yeah,
had a better,
early on in his career, he still had never scored a podium.
Who knows? Probably when he gets to
Audi,
he'll do a little bit better.
yeah.
I'm really praying for Audi, man. Like, especially being an Audi man myself, I don't want him to disappoint me and leave me heartbroken, man.
Are you gonna support Audi when they jump on the grid?
In my heart, yeah, because I have to at this point. But you know what? It's like the way they start off right now, the team, it's like it's just gonna be like a reskin, isn't it? I don't know what the engine's saying, but I don't think they're having much good development in their engine game either. But I don't know. They give me really wishy-washy. They're kind of in, they're kind of out. I don't really know where they stand. But I know, from what I know of Audi, when they go in motorsports, they tend to dominate and they tend to do really well. So they have about 3 years for me. 3 years to do something
But isn't
incredible.
that how long the regulation is? Does they have to start again? It's like, okay,
And imagine they drop out after the 3 years.
done.
Then
But okay, looking ahead, we've got the Canadian Grand Prix coming on next weekend. I'm looking forward to that one. Another great track.
yeah.
And we had a really great Canadian Grand Prix last year in the rain.
Oof.
And might see something similar, hopefully.
I'm excited for Canada. It's a track as well. Like, you can't go wrong. I love when it's actually an actual circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to Red Bulls, they're bringing upgrades. And if
Yuki, please.
if that doesn't work, then yeah, just I don't know. It's just you just have to say yeah, McLaren. I'm already saying it. Just McLarens are gone, but I think that's the last hope for Max's title hopes to win a fifth, and that'll be it. I think he'll start mentally checking out.
Oh, you told me he's going to do GTR racing, isn't it?
That's what I've been reading on Twitter, that they might just do.
They have to keep Max happy because
They don't want to lose him.
After man just showed how frustrated he was and what he'll do when he's frustrated, to keep her happy, innit? That's the best way.
But yeah, I think that's it.
Just about wraps us up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. So thank you guys for joining.
Yep.
And like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Keep us give us something to read.
Give us views, please. All right, thank you guys.